Actually, it's gold titanium alloy man, Justyn.
NPR recorded their podcast in a cave using built-in mics. Ish.
I'm just here for your entertainment today. I'm Hannah.
We just entered level 97 on
Geek K.O. This episode of Geek K.O. is not brought to you by America's Favorite Burgers. More glamorous than a crown, causing more smiles than a clown. No need to look left, right, up, or down. Just ask any half-dozen dudes and they'll all point towards America's Favorite Burgers. If you're getting hungry, there's no need to ask where or when. These burgers are always there for you.
Both me and Justin are eating on mic and camera today. We're just like, dinner time.
I know. You're listening to Geek K.O. something. You're listening to Geek K.O., your Geek Trivia podcast. Find us on the interwebs on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I said Twitter again.
Stop saying
Under
Twitter.
the handle GKO Podcast. What are you eating, Hannah?
I made like a fake lasagna in that there's no meat in it. So I don't know. It depends on... It's not a figment of my imagination. It just doesn't have meat, which is how most people would consume lasagna.
But
I've been
does it have to
inside a
have
long
lasagna?
time.
Does it have to have like meat in order to be lasagna?
No,
You know what
there's
it actually has to have is the noodles. And what I meant by fake lasagna is that I used eggplant instead of noodles.
Oh, I feel like I've done that before.
Is this good enough for the podcast?
It's like a Passover lasagna.
Today, I'm having a pork curry katsu that I made from scratch. It was
That
very
sounds
delicious.
so good.
You should
actually.
come over, but
But
I mean,
stay the away from me.
honestly, like I make because it's me and my roommates. There's only like two of them. Well, technically three because one of them's an 11th month old, and I make a lot of food. So like, if I ever have any extras, if you legit want some like leftovers, I can definitely put it in a box.
Please put it in an envelope and send it to my house.
All right, perfect.
Dripping wet with oil.
Postmarked Hannah from Zoom workouts.
All right. Well, today we are kind of going back in time a little bit.
Back to the basics.
Back to the basics. I know, because we are covering the first Iron Man movie, the circa 2008. We're gonna actually open up our End Boss store and have him explain why he's having us do this. And behind that End Boss store
Why
is
he's
Justyn
forcing
Cortes.
Why Justyn Cortes is forcing us to do this.
Welcome back to the show.
His will.
So, Justin, why are you forcing us to do this against our will?
Oh, it's great to feel so welcome here at Geek. It's so great. I love it so much. But yes, welcome. Thanks for having me back, guys. Well, you know, I feel like Iron Man is very paramount because it really changed the landscape, not only of kind of the action adventure genre, but of also superhero movies, and also to take it to a bigger scale of movies that exist within a universe that keeps extending and have them all coincide with each other in that same plane of existence. Something you don't normally see at all out of franchises. So, and plus, since, you know, there's no movies out right now, so it's kind of hard to stay topical.
Absolutely no movies right now. It was either this, you guys, or he would have like quizzed us on Trolls.
What is a movie? Everyone email Justin right now demanding a Trolls podcast.
You know, honestly,
Honestly?
I actually did watch it a couple times because of my 11th-month-old roommate. But, you know what, let's jump into...
Okay,
Round
two things.
one.
One, if we're gonna do a podcast, let's do Hercules, because I found out recently that Justin here admitted blasphemy that he had never seen Hercules the animated film
It's pretty
from
gross.
1997. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
You were deprived of a childhood, sir.
There might be a little bit of plan in the works, so we'll see
Hey.
about that.
Ish only like opened the door to round one part way before we talked over him. So can he please finish his sentence so we can actually come into the space?
I'm being tactical. Round one.
There
All
we
right,
are.
We are in. All right, buzzer's ready.
Okay, and is Hannah playing? I forget.
No, they just have me here to
Okay.
moderate.
Optionally choose
You
not
can
to
be our
participate.
Jarvis. You can be our Jarvis.
Yeah.
Or I guess Friday in this instance.
Yeah. He has a couple like female AI, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a female AI.
Yeah.
Is what this is.
I mean, I just assumed that's what you were in general, that you were just the AI for Justin and Ish.
I live every day as an AI for Justin.
She does keep me in line.
All right. Okay. So this is how I'm going to construct this. To commemorate the 12th anniversary of Iron Man, and with May 2nd being its release date, we're just like, 12 years and a day off. I thought it'd be fun to commemorate with some questions here. So the first round is mainly going to focus on movie details. And then round two will be focused more on Easter eggs and comic book references.
All right.
Okay, question number one. What is the name of the province where Tony is kidnapped?
Oh.
Was that Justin? I believe so.
That was me. It's it starts with the letter K. It's a is it a Quran or no? That is
A real thing.
That is a book.
That is a real thing.
No.
It starts with the letter K. So I don't know if Ish can like derive an answer from that.
If you want to steal Ish, yeah, feel free.
Kazakhstan.
Yes.
Kazakhstan.
Yes, there's an Easter egg of Borat in the background. And he's like sitting in a chair and going, king in the castle. But no, unfortunately, both of you have it wrong. It is the Kunar province in Afghanistan.
Kunar. Okay, that was one of my End Boss questions.
Yes. And you don't know it. Fun. So, question.
That was rude as hell, and I loved it. Come back more often.
More sassy, but yes. Justin, he knows I love him. Okay, question number two. At what age did Tony graduate from MIT summa cum laude? Yes, Ish.
17.
That is the correct answer.
I
Before most people even
knew.
go to college.
I knew the part where he went to MIT. I forgot the age. So do that again, but switched.
But switch. Yeah, in the comic books, when they did the reimagining, they had him entering college at 15 and graduating at 19. And then he got addicted to hookers and blow. So
like
we all did that
do.
in college. Okay, fine, Ish. You didn't need to step. Me and Ish thought the same thing at the same time.
We both went to the same college. That's why.
Just like me. That's true.
he actually went to Tim College. Great. All right. Question number 3.
There are those that call it Tim.
What was that, Ish?
I said there are those that call it Tim.
Tim.
Monty
Solid
Python
reference.
Grail. Yeah.
Very nice. All right. Question number 3. What company does journalist Christine Everhart say she works for when trying to interview Tony?
Oh, man.
Oh, it's not that news company that always shows up on the TV during the Marvel movies, is it?
Remember, it's the blonde girl that he
Yeah.
tossed in the hay with?
Let's say the Daily Bugle.
Well, you know what? In the comic book, she actually does.
I was gonna say the Western Daily Bugle because they're in California.
No, that was,
Daily Bugle.
to be honest, that was really awesome, Justin. But in terms of the movie, no. Unfortunately, Sony still owned the rights to Spider-Man, therefore they couldn't use a reference to anything in the Spider-Man universe.
Oh, it's probably the one that Lee what's his face is part of from like Daredevil.
I'm gonna give it to Ish.
The LA Times.
That is incorrect.
The New Yorker.
In California, guys.
NPR News Washington.
Or maybe they're in Vegas. I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, we're in Vegas, and it's going to sound really odd, but Vanity Fair, the magazine.
Vanity
You know
Fair.
what? I mean, like right now, they're like at least Teen
No,
Vogue.
you're thinking of Teen
I'm
Vogue.
thinking of Teen Vogue, but let me just say, shout out to Teen
Esteemed
Vogue.
publication, Teen Vogue.
They are super woke, and I love it.
Why?
They're just super woke. That's all.
Because they
As
get
the-
plenty of
as
sleep
the
and they
teens
wake in a
are.
reasonable amount of time.
Hmm.
Okay, question number 4. Now, this is a 2-part question, so you can either get 2 points or maybe you can break a piece off of that Kit Kat bar and get spread it amongst yourselves.
Going for
All
0.
right. Question number 4. Who is Jarvis and what is the name the acronym stands for?
Oh,
Ish.
Jarvis is the AI unit who was formerly the family butler, and the acronym stands for. Hang on, let me. I'm gonna open up the chat and like kind of spell it out so I could like see each letter.
while he does that,
Yeah.
like I remember having this question a long time ago when we did the MCU. We did the MCU a couple times.
Well, I'm
Okay.
sure you would since there's been like 23, 24 movies.
Jarvis, I believe, stands for. Geez, are revolutions very intricately serviceable?
Yes.
That is
Ding, ding, ding.
exactly right. Wow. How did the people at Marvel come up with this stuff? No, Ish. You do get 1 point, though. Congratulations.
Yay.
Does anybody want to...
Are you giving a point per letter?
It was a two-part question, so you
Oh,
get the
gotcha.
first
So I
part of
got
what
who
is
Jarvis is.
Yes. So
Which
now,
one? Which
does
one were
anybody
you
know what it
specifically looking for Jarvis?
Say
Who
that
he
again?
was? Who were you specifically looking for who he was?
Oh,
Was it just AI or?
in relation to the movie. So in the movie...
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It was just the AI. Yeah. Okay.
that is correct. Justin, by any chance, would you want to solve the puzzle for the acronym?
So, geez.
It's your turn to make up something funny.
Okay. Jesters, asinine, running very instably, sucking.
Almost half a
I
sentence.
just got a better one.
Okay, your turn. It's Ish's turn. Whoever comes up
Just-
with a better Jarvis wins.
All right. Just another really vocal indentured servant.
Ooh.
I'm giving him a point for that, and that's how
Actually,
good I feel.
That's actually, I do really enjoy that. I'm not going to give you any points, but I give you my love. And
I
There you
will,
go.
and I
Okay.
hold the points
All
power.
right. Okay. So she'll hold the points. Awesome. But it stands for just a rather intelligent system.
Wow, so
Ah.
like almost as benign as everything y'all just said.
Yeah,
Pretty
pretty much.
crazy.
And then
Yeah, pretty much.
mine wasn't even coherent.
Okay.
Whatever.
Say it again.
Stands for just. Imagine the J in your
What
mind.
does it stand for?
Just a rather intelligent system.
No tricks here, just a rather intelligent system. Don't look
So
over
there's no
here, we're
V?
just a rather intelligent system.
It's a rather very intelligent system.
Oh, rather varied. Okay.
Yes.
The
Okay,
audio's, like,
that's
kinda cutting out
worse.
on my end, so I'm like,
Yeah. All
I'm
right.
I'm side-eyeing how that's not a sentence either.
A rather very intelligent system, yes. All right, question number 5. What kind of technology does the Jericho missile use?
Oh.
Justin.
It's not like arc reactor technology.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
But it is tied to Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Stay with
what
us.
kind of
Ish. Stay with us.
technology?
Yes.
And you said arc.
Well, he said
Yeah.
arc reactor. It hadn't been invented yet, but this kind of technology
Yeah.
Iron Man does use on his suit. Ish.
It is nanobotic.
That'd be a great name for a band, really.
Nanobotic.
Nanobotic. No, both of you have failed, but I still love you. It is Repulsor Tech.
Oh.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
The blast
Like
that
like
come from
like
those
the
number
blast.
4 glowy
Like-
circles in his hands.
Right.
I thought it was just a generic shockwave.
Yeah.
Yeah, the generic brand Shockwave.
Yeah.
Generic brand.
Yeah, you know.
Adobe
You
Shockwave.
can get at your local 7-Eleven
Wave of shocks.
or Circle K.
All right. All right. Question number 6. What is the name of the terrorist group that kidnaps Tony Stark? That is Ish.
The 10 Rings.
The 10 Rings is correct.
I was about to say like 10 wheels or something like that.
That is
And
the
then-
other group.
The other group.
Yeah.
And what was the group that Ariana Grande is a part of?
Oh, that's Team Rocket.
That's
Oh,
7 Rings.
7 Rings.
Yeah.
The 10 Wheels is the terrorist group on Cybertron.
Oh, that's probably not true, but it sounds legit.
It's
All right.
not true.
I would love to hear another question.
All right. Question number 7. This is a 2-parter. However, there could be more than one answer. And I'm doing this specifically to help Justin because he's yet to be on the board.
Really?
I thought he got the first one.
I'm looking out for you, man. As
Ugh.
Ish currently has 4 points.
I thought Justin got the first question.
No, he didn't say Kunar. He
Oh,
said
that's right.
the K.
Right. Dang it.
Yes,
Well, thank you, Ish.
but you know what?
I-
I appreciate you still. Question number 7. Name 2 features the Mark I suit possessed. Ish.
Flamethrower and temporary flight.
Propulsion, but I will take that. Very good,
Yeah.
sir. You get 2. Huzzah. And to help you out, Justin, would you like to add to that? In your
Man.
mind's eye when he's just kicking so much terrorist ass.
Well, the only one that I got were the flamethrowers. I just remember that very vividly because I didn't remember flamethrowers on his other suits. But
Mhm. How about this?
Uh,
Look in your mind's eye when he sees Jensen is trapped and that the leader comes out and tries to shoot a grenade launcher at him, and he dodges it. What does he do next? Tony.
doesn't he just I don't know.
How does he subdue the terrorist?
Isn't it like super strength? Like he just picked something up and like threw it at him?
Mech strength is one of his features. Very
Okay.
Good. Okay.
Cool.
All right. I'm going to give you a +1, Justin.
Oh, thank you.
Woo!
Yes. Yeah.
Finally on the
Yes,
board.
Strength is one of his features, as well as a missile launcher, which he does use. He kind of like pulls it.
Oh yeah,
the
he
crank, and it shoots and the rocks
he
fall down.
manually launches a rocket.
Yes, he is also the outfit is bulletproof, which is another feature. Which is always nice.
Yeah, I almost said that one.
Yes. All right. Good job. All right. Next one. Question number 8. What is the name of the town that Iron Man saves from the 10 Rings?
Ooh.
And for an extra point, what is its significance?
I barely remember Kunar, but
Man, I remember this town had like kind of a cool sounding name. Just don't
Yeah.
remember what the name was.
Ish. Give it a go.
I'm gonna guess Muwakin, and its significance was that it was a ammo storage place for the terrorists that the U.S. had eyes on.
Those are both incorrect, but I love your creativity.
What country is that made-up city in? Ish.
Afghanistan.
The made-up country of Afghanistan. Do I have
It
you on
wasn't
record
a
saying
real
that?
country. It was in a real country,
It's actually it's in Latvia.
Latvia.
oh, is it
It's in Genovia.
Genovia?
It's Genosha.
I got
Learn
nothing,
the
Justin.
names
Got
of
it.
cities of places, real places.
Real Celadon City.
Wakanda, obviously, but that's a nation. Okay,
Yeah, and it's
so
in
correct
Africa.
answer is the town is called Gulmira.
Gomera.
Gulmira,
That's
and
what it
it
was,
is
yeah.
Jensen's hometown. It's where he said his family's from and where he was going to
Right.
return to after this was all done. But he
Mm.
really meant in the afterlife.
Oh.
Neo Gomera.
R.I.P. Jensen. All right, guys. Here's another one. All right, this is another two-parter, so good luck. Question number 9. What saves Tony after Obadiah takes out his arc reactor, and what does it say? Justin!
It was sorry. It was the old arc reactor that
Yes.
Pepper got from him. That like she put in a case, and it says proof that Tony Stark has a heart.
That is exactly right.
Yeah.
Good job,
First
bro.
legit answer.
Yeah, man, that's great. Yeah, as just a lover of film and a professor of screenwriting, the one thing that Iron Man did very well, and it actually laid out a formula for the rest of the Marvel movies, is they liked utilizing what's called a plant and a payoff. They plant something that seems almost insignificant at the beginning or the first act of the film, but then it pays off not only physically to move the story forward, but also has symbolism towards it by the end.
Kind of
Same
like
thing
the opposite of a MacGuffin.
exactly, and the same applies. They did in Guardians of the Galaxy with the cassette tape, the Volume 2 tape. So it's really great. And then the Russo brothers took it a step further, and they had it tied together all the way towards Endgame. What, 11 years later? So it's beautiful, man. It's all great. So question number 10, the last one of the round. What does SHIELD stand for? Justin. Oh, this is going to be fun.
Strategic Homeland. Oh no. Elephants in living room and dining rooms.
That's exactly right. Congratulations. You have reached
Mhm.
level 4 of Jumanji.
All right.
Ish.
Strategic Homeland Intervention, Enforcement, and Logistics Division.
Bravo, sir. Very good.
And to think that
I
we
guess.
knew all of this not too long ago when we did the MCU episodes.
Oh, really?
I don't think
Did
I
don't
you?
did
remember.
Because every time I'm
I'm
here,
pretty sure we all
nobody
got that
answers a
question wrong.
question.
It was a long time ago. How many episodes? This is episode 97. So I lost a few things. All right. So after question number 10, Hannah, what are our scores?
I have Ish at 6 and Justin at 1.
Well,
It always pains me to just
Justin doesn't have one. He got the two-parter question in question 9, which is
Point.
this is why I need a college professor around. Let's give him 2 more. Let's give him 3. Listen, I said I hold. You could tell me anything. Like it's almost as like Justin, like Madriaga could have told me, "Hey, I want more points," and I might just be like, "Sure."
well, I
You're on my
definitely.
paycheck.
Well, either way, I still got to catch up to Ish. But Justin, welcome back to the show, man. So you, on top of being a professor of film, you're also a part of a little project called Geek and Update. Can you explain what that is to our audience who do not know that is?
All right, Geekend Update. You know, I feel news now is very paramount. We get it in all different ways. And this one focuses on pop culture news. But you know what? Life is already hard enough. Look at what we're doing right now with this lockdown. So we like to add a splash of comedy. So if you like to learn about what's going on in current pop culture news and have a good laugh, tune into Geekend Update, where we have some fabulous writers and a wonderful host known by Justin, Ryan, Allison, Consuela Madriaga. Yes.
How dare you reveal my middle names?
And now he can be doxxed.
I'm already reserving that domain name.
Please do.
And Justin, we already know that you are a huge Iron Man fan as well as like a general comics fan, but what other geek disciplines are you into?
Whew, man, how much time do you got here, buddy? Well, besides just the pop culture comic book stuff, that's kind of where it started, you know. But I also a big lover of, as we've said, like TV and films. So if we're talking Jurassic Park, we're talking your Star Wars, we're talking your Game of Thrones, anime. So if you love My Hero Academia, I'm late on the train, but I watched Castlevania on Netflix, which is fantastic.
Justin, I told you we need to do a My Hero episode.
Oh my gosh, I'm so down, bro. So down. We could just every sentence just start breaking into tears like Midoriya does in that first season, which drove me crazy. I love the kid, but damn, just hold it together, kid. But yeah, so Avatar: The Last Airbender is another big one. Um, Pretty much anything Disney related, I'm quite the aficionado over, and I mean it helps that I work there. But yeah, so I'm a typical millennial, raised in all this good pop culture stuff. So I absorbed it as part of my childhood.
Perfect. And before we move on to our topic, how are you doing right now? Like, how are you, like managing your shelter in place right now?
Well, when I'm not running around naked screaming why to God,
Which is
I
very rare.
yes, it's very rare. No, I'm trying to stay active. I think working at Disney, everyone's furloughed right now. There's about 100,000 cast members that are on furlough, so we're just waiting for Disney to go back up and running. So right now I am on unemployment. So during this time, I'm thinking, what can I do to better myself? So I just started binging TV. I've also been trying my best to stay active, work out more, and realize how just out of shape I actually am. And then I've also been learning how to play piano. I've been trying to like run before I can walk. And I started off with Mary Had a Little Lamb, and then I just graduated to the Game of Thrones theme song just because I felt like it. But I'll try to send you guys some videos of my progress.
Yes, please.
But it's hilariously awful. But you
please
know
do.
what? I give 100% maximum effort. Okay, I Deadpool this with the piano.
I mean, that's the
Plus
only.
Ultra.
I plus ultra.
I mean, isn't that really like the only percentage of effort that you really need in life?
I agree.
All right.
So for
remember,
Iron Man,
listeners, when we have the Justyn Cortes episode,
Ooh, that'd be fun.
am I
so
cutting out? Sorry, my
for
internet's
Iron Man,
really bad right here.
so
Wait, can I say something
how
really
would you
quickly?
describe Iron Man if you had to give an elevator pitch to someone?
Ooh, it's about a playboy genius philanthropist that decides to abandon his legacy as a weapons manufacturer and create a mechanized suit to help save the world and end World War.
Very precise. I like it.
Yes.
So and how did you first come across like Iron Man? Was it through like the comics? Was it through the movies? Was it through cartoons?
It was through the cartoons. I think as a kid, um, that's when Marvel was trying to make most of its money. Unfortunately, Marvel went bankrupt in 1995, and so they were trying their best to stay afloat. So they thought they would just sell the rights and try to churn out as much content as they could, and that's how you got the rise of X-Men the animated series, Spider-Man the animated series. There was an animated series in the 90s for Iron Man. There was also one, I believe, in like the 60s and 70s, which
probably.
song plays a part in the first film. But I got into it as a kid watching the 90s animated series, which I really enjoyed. And actually, that was my gateway to most comic books, is watching like Batman the animated series and what have you. And they'd be like, mommy, I want to know more about this. And then she's like, okay, read. And pictures. So it was also a good form of babysitting. Right?
Okay, fine, I will read.
Sure, go read this comic book. But yes, and that's how I really got into it. I just love the idea as a kid, just being able to put on a suit and be able to fly, shoot lasers from your hands, have all the money in the world. There was just so much appeal to that character. And as I got older, I actually started to admire Iron Man even more so, just because I saw why Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and Don Heck and Larry Lieber created him. Because in 1963 was a very contentious time for the United States. We were in the Vietnam War. Then there was racial divides at an all-time high. And so the Vietnam War was definitely not a war that was being supported. And a lot of people in our generation and younger ones were rebelling against the man to end it. And so Stan Lee came up with the idea of creating a character that represented the status quo, but seeing firsthand the destructive capabilities of the industrial complex and decide to go against it and use his powers for peace. And so I really love that angle that that team, those 4 creators went with in making this character. And I think it made him a very complex character up until the 70s where they made him an alcoholic. But yeah, so no, he's a fascinating character. He's a great reflection of not just pop culture history, but just a reflection of the culture at the time. And I still feel like it weighs heavy today because we sometimes find ourselves in the same situation, considering that the Afghanistan war went for how many years? It was the longest running war here in the United States. So I think he was relevant more than ever, especially when he came out in 2008.
Yeah, and speaking of the 2008 movie, obviously that started it all with like the MCU and like just like the Marvel Studios, who was probably still considered really small at that time. Obviously, I feel like Iron Man was probably one of those. Was the film that they came before that. It was all I remember is like Elektra. That was all I remember from Marvel pre-Iron Man. Marvel Studios. But when you first, let's start off with Ish. Ish, when you first started watching this film, what did you think of it? And did you think that it was going to like blow up to what it is now?
One thing I wanted to say earlier, way back when, I think I was cutting out, tell the listeners that you heard it here first, that when we do the Justyn Cortes episode, when the question comes up of what song did he first play on his piano, remember Mary Had a Little Lamb. Anyways, when I first saw this movie,
very good.
I first saw the movie, I'm like I loved it, and kind of over the years and even then and stuff, Iron Man and stuff hasn't really been my favorite, which is ironic because I have an engineering degree and all this stuff, and Tony Stark is basically who I essentially aspire to be. But I feel like at the same time, because he is very much who I kind of want to be, I don't like him because it's oh, that's already been taken kind of thing. And a lot in the comics and stuff, whenever they're at odds, I typically side with Captain America.
Same.
But yeah, but Justin, to your second part, when Nick Fury came up and talked about the Avengers Initiative, that's when I kind of knew it was going to go crazy, because that movie was amazing. It also started the MCU, which I would not tell that to Wesley Snipes. But yeah. But as soon as Nick Fury came on the scene at the post-credit scene, I think I knew that it was going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
How about you, Hannah? Did you have any experience watching Iron Man, or just your thoughts about the movie if you watched it?
I think maybe we've chatted about this before, not on air, but just about how Iron Man is maybe one of the first Marvel movies, and there's a reason for this, right? Wasn't it one of the first Marvel, of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in general or something? It was one of the first movies from the Marvel Universe that I remember watching and liking as a kid, because I'm not really a huge superheroes kid, and it was the first one that my developing brain was oh, this is interesting. What I'm watching here is interesting. It's not just like big flash boom. I had some emotional investment in it. I haven't watched it again as an adult. and I wonder what I would think now with all of my life experience watching at least the first one of the movies. But yeah, at least it kickstarted something in my brain that was like, hey, sometimes characters are difficult. Sometimes they're challenging, and we like that, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And I love that about the character too, as well as like the person who played him, Robert Downey Jr., because he was also going through like a lot during his life as well. So it's kind of great that this film essentially turned his life around. But I do want to talk a little bit more about its cultural impact. But before we do that, let's head into
Round 2.
All right, Justin, what do you got for us for round 2?
All right, round 2 is very similar. It's going to be 10 questions. Some might be a two-parter. And they are mainly focused on Easter eggs / comic book references in the film.
Cool. All right, let's do it.
Just had Easter.
Godspeed. All right. Question number 1. Why was the terrorist organization that kidnapped Tony called the Ten Rings?
Ooh.
That would be Ish.
Was it a reference to the Mandarin who wore
That
10
is
rings?
exactly correct. Ding, ding, ding. Yes, it is a reference to the Mandarin who he's a Mongolian warlord that's been kind of existing through the ages. And he uses 10 alien rings to conjure magic. Ones ranging from ice blast to mind manipulation, which is always a fun one. Lightning discharge, pyrokinesis, shooting lasers. He can also create a vortex beam to give himself the power of flight, concussive blasts, and they're able to freeze or slow or speed up people using manipulating their matter. So, just the
usual.
All the basics.
So, yes, he definitely was quite the adversary, and he is the arch nemesis in the comic books to Sir Tony Stark, a.k.a. Iron Man. So, very good-ish. All right. And
I was really disappointed with the third movie.
Oh, yeah. To be honest, I didn't really mind kind of that subversion, and it really seems they went... I feel like Iron Man 3 really marks kind of the formula that Marvel inserted with having to subvert things and then make a laugh out of it. Sometimes I felt it worked for a bit, and other times it did not. I didn't mind the twist in Iron Man 3, but I think the real Mandarin was lame. So that's the part.
Yeah. I think because the real Mandarin was lame, like I think it kind of made the whole thing fall short.
Yeah, because I love Guy Pearce, but they really underused his acting abilities to play a really compelling villain. But I digress. Okay, question number 2. Which rock star makes a cameo in Iron Man? And what happens to his character?
Rock star?
Yes, there is a celebrity rock star in the first Iron Man.
I don't know rock stars, Justin.
Well, I was hoping. I thought
that would be the answer is Hannah Mraz.
It's Van Halen.
Hannah
No, I don't know.
From YouTube.
For a second, I thought you were going to say Hannah Montana.
The only rock star we know, really.
Yeah,
that would have been the best foreshadowing for Disney buying out Marvel.
Nobody's perfect,
Right? You get the best of both worlds with
you
that.
live and you learn it.
Yeah.
Ish. I'm gonna guess Ozzy Osbourne, and he died.
You know what? That would have been a really cool cameo, but sadly, no. It is Tom Morello, the lead guitarist of Rage Against the Machine. He actually played the guitar for the soundtrack in the first movie, and so they decided to include him as one of the terrorists that gets pummeled by the Mark I suit.
Oh, right on.
A quick flash where he turns around and he sees like the glow of the arc reactor on his face. You see him for just a blip, and then he gets punched and knocked off of his feet. And it's just, I also find it very kind of cheekily ironic that his band is called Rage Against the Machine, and he got pwned by the machine.
Rage Against the Machine, yeah.
Also, Rage Against the Machine, and was cast as a one-off terrorist.
Oh man.
I know you would do what they told you.
By the
Wow,
way,
you
there's a
sound
really cute
exactly
video
like-
of this little kid singing that song. Anyway,
Oh really?
I love
Continue.
that idea so much in my brain. I'm finding it now.
All right, question number 3. Tony was captured in Afghanistan in the movie, but where was he captured in his first appearance back in 1963? Does anybody know? And I kind of talked about it when we were discussing.
was it Vietnam War?
Vietnam War is correct, Justin.
There we
I'm
go.
so proud of you. Look at that. Huzzah! 10 points for Hufflepuff. All right.
I think we're all technically Hufflepuff here.
Actually, I'm a Gryffindor, but hey. Really? Hannah's a Hufflepuff?
Yeah,
Oh,
what did you think
yeah.
I was?
I don't know if I should say because then I'm
Am
not
I acting Slytherin?
I got called a Slytherin more than once, so.
Wait, you're a Hufflepuff-ish? Wait, this is the part where I'm surprised. Yeah?
I mean, I've never actually taken the test.
Okay. Well, neither have I. I've always just called myself a Hufflepuff, and I think it's because I have friends, and that's the criteria.
I always did it for the
Friends.
I always did it for the lulz,
'Cause
but
you
my in-canon reasoning was because I tested equally amongst the other 3.
Oh, jeez. All
That
right.
kinda happened.
Okay.
Well,
Well, when you think about
I'm
it,
every house.
good job, Justin. I'm so proud of you. And just to add a little bit on top of that, instead of being captured,
Sorry.
apprehended by the 10 rings.
Am I back? Am I back?
Oh, wait.
yeah, you're back.
I hear you. Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Were you
sorry.
still talking, man? Did I talk over you? I'm so sorry.
I mean, I probably froze out.
You did. I just thought, but I didn't know. I just thought you stopped talking.
I was answering Hannah's question.
Oh, I'm
No, it's
sorry.
fine. Yeah, it happens.
That's okay.
Yay. So, although he was captured by the 10 Rings in Afghanistan, back in 1963, he was captured in Vietnam by Wong Chu, a drug lord. He also went as the Red Guerrilla Leader. Yeah, kind of racially insensitive there,
Ooh.
but hey, it's a product of its time. It
Yep.
wasn't until it was reimagined in 2005 with Warren Ellis and Adi Granoff, who served as a consultant for the construction of the suit for the movie, did they have it take place in Afghanistan to kind of coincide with the conflict that was happening during that decade. But yeah, you could read that in Iron Man 1 if you folks like. It's a great series and was a great inspiration for the first movie. Okay, question number 4. Obadiah Stane slips out his villain's name in dialogue with Tony. What is it? That is Justin.
Ah,
Warmonger.
Warmonger is correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
wait, was it Warmonger or was it Ironmonger?
Oh, was it? Did you say Warmonger? No.
I said
that-
war. Oh, did he say Ironmonger? I just knew Warmonger.
Oh yeah, it's not Warmonger. I think I was just so
Oh.
excited for you to get it. So,
Probably
Ish, do you know what it is?
I said Ironmonger.
Ironmonger is correct. And
Ah,
thank you
dang
for
it.
catching that, Ish. Reversal. Reverse. It's
The
like,
one time,
like we're playing Uno.
the one time my audio kicks in.
I know, it's for you to steal some points from Justin. How dare you, sir? But great job.
Thank you.
But yes, Obadiah Stane is a big rival to Tony. He becomes more prevalent later. He actually didn't make his first appearance until 1982 in Iron Man 163, in which he has a rival company. And towards the 70s, which kind of set a new tone for how Tony's character would progress, Obadiah actually is able to buy out Tony. And basically takes Stark International away, and that drives Tony to alcoholism. And eventually, Rhodey would take over as Iron Man to try to at least keep the veneer that he hasn't completely lost all of his faculties. And later, Tony would rise as a phoenix from the ashes, recover, and then ask Rhodey to be his partner, War Machine. So it kind of got that ball rolling, all because of Obadiah.
Question:
Yes, sir.
did that happen around? I think it was the first Secret Wars,
Yes, around that time, yeah.
because I remember Rhodey was in the Iron Man suit on Battle Planet.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, good catch, man.
Thanks. Yeah, I was wondering if that just happened to be around the same time because I always wondered why it was Rhodey. And once I learned who they are, I always wondered why it was Rhodey and not Tony.
Ugh, teacher's pet.
Shut up, Hannah. I
And
have
also,
bad internet.
and also, too, the one thing I want to add is one thing I love about the movie is that it does a really good job at honoring the source material, and whether it's written in an expository dialogue or shown through like decor or costuming, they really are very meticulous in how they present the character on screen with the character from the comic books. For example, in the first appearance of Obadiah Stane as Ironmonger, he actually assembles a villain group called the Chessmen. And as an Easter egg, after uh, the intervention in Golmira and the news is reporting on it, it cuts to Obadiah, a very unhappy Obadiah, sitting in his estate on a couch, and next to him is a chessboard. And it's very prominently placed in the foreground so that the audience can see it, and it's supposed to be a nod to his origins. And I always like that kind
That's
of
pretty
stuff.
good. Yeah.
That's always,
I love those Easter eggs.
Yeah. Man,
yeah.
the Chessmen sounds like a villain group in a shirt.
Oh,
No, we lost you again. Andy.
Guess he said Sherlock Holmes.
You know what? I would.
Yeah, I did.
There we go.
That they would be a villain group for Sherlock Holmes. While Jarvis serves as Tony's AI, why was he named Jarvis in the first place? And I believe. Oh, I give it to
Sorry.
Justin. I heard
All right.
first.
Because that was his butler when he was younger, or it was his dad's butler.
Yes, correct. Edwin Jarvis. And they eventually did find a place for him in the MCU, in which he assisted Howard Stark and Peggy Carter in the TV series Agent Carter.
Ugh, I
So,
miss that.
yay. Awesome. I know, right? Okay. So, question number 6. What legendary icon does Tony confuse with Hugh Hefner? Oh, man, I was like at the same time. Crud. I think I heard Ish.
Stan Lee,
Stan Lee is correct.
the legend formerly known.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Is he formerly known as his name? If
No, formally known. Not
formerly, sorry, I was
Yeah.
like formerly known as the
yeah,
guy who had the same name he's always had.
like Prince, formally.
All right, here's another Easter eggy question. Question number 7. When Tony is testing out his Mark II, he asks Jarvis which aircraft holds the record for reaching the highest altitude. What is the name of that aircraft?
Hmm.
Ooh.
Justin.
Falcon.
No, but that's a really good guess, actually.
Thank you.
Ish. You want to give
The-
a crack?
The YF-22.
No, not the YF-22. There is a F-22 that appears, but no, it is the SR-71 Blackbird, which is also the same plane of the X-Men.
Oh.
Yes, and
Nice.
that was purposely inserted there by the request of Kevin Feige, who worked on the previous 20th Century Fox X-Men movie.
Oh.
Yeah,
I like
fun.
Planting
the
those
band
seeds even earlier.
Yes. Question number 8. I mentioned it before. What Iron Man villain are the 2 F-22 jets that chase Iron Man called? They're named after an Iron Man-ish.
I believe, what is Whiplash?
Whiplash is correct. Very good, young sir. That is
Yeah.
correct. And they didn't know they weren't sure, the script hadn't been written, that he would become the main villain for the second film, but here we are. What a coinky dink, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So, question number 9. What Avengers-themed Easter egg is shown when Pepper catches Tony taking off his Mark III armor?
You said
It is an
Avengers.
Avengers-themed Easter egg.
Avengers themed Easter egg.
Shown in the background. It's the part when she walks, she's like, and then Tony stops. He's like, "This isn't the worst thing you've caught me doing."
I remember that. Well, dang.
Right.
I heard Justin.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say there was a spider in the back.
That is incorrect, but good try. Ish, do
A
you want to give it?
spider. The least shield like this. Oh man. Okay. Um, I'm going to guess there was a unit number, and the number was the same year as the first Avengers comic.
That is a really creative guess. But
Wow.
no,
Dang.
it was a partially built Captain America shield.
That seemed way
Oh.
too grabby, and I didn't want to go for it.
It's
Yeah.
a
It
grabby.
sparked a debate amongst fans eventually because there was a big surprise to many MCU fans in Spider-Man: Homecoming when they revealed that all of Phase One took place in the same year. So there's debate as to whether Nick Fury came at some point to ask him to make a Captain America-like shield. All right, question number 10, and the last one of this round. What villainous corporation is shown in the background during the freeway fight scene between Iron Man and Ironmonger? That is Justin.
I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark. Was it AIM?
That is a great guess, but no. I am sorry. Ish, do you want to give it a go?
Okay. Yeah. If he guesses AIM, I'm gonna guess Hydra.
I mean, Hydra was a secret organization.
I'm gonna guess Alchemex.
Another good guess, but no. The answer is the Roxxon Corporation, which has been featured throughout the MCU.
Roxxon.
Huh.
Yes, yes.
Oh, he's like a Thor villain, right?
Roxxon Corporation basically is a villainous petroleum corporation that wants to control everything. I know there's nothing like that would exist today, obviously, but they would use villains and assassins to enact their will so they can get a higher profit margin. And in the comics, they would employ the help of like Dr. Octopus, Mr. Sinister, and also they were responsible for the death of Howard and Maria Stark originally. And funny story, in the comic books, Roxxon Corporation was originally founded by Alex Jones. Yes.
That hurts me.
Right. Yes, the crazed correspondent of InfoWars. How timely is that? And then when they retconned it in the 2000s throughout the Ultimate series, it was owned by Donald Roxxon. Guess who it was named after?
Donald Duck. Because of
Obviously.
Clearly. Oh, yeah. Donald.
Okay.
Both are textbook comic book villains, so.
True.
Right?
Okay, I heard of Roxxon from the Thor comics when
But yes, so they are a famed villainous corporation that tries to get in the way of, life.
I heard of them mostly from the Thor comics.
Yeah, they were in there. They originally appeared in Captain America, and then Iron Man, and then the Avengers. So they've been involved throughout the Marvel Universe comic book.
Okay. Cool.
All right, and that was round 2. Before we get our scores, let's hit our sponsor break.
This episode of Geek K.O. is not brought to you by Cave Scraps. Do you feel like you're trapped in your nerd cave, hidden away from the rest of the world? Well, why not try and pass the time with Cave Scraps? You can tinker, dabble, finagle, and much, much more. Who says the technology doesn't exist? Build your own destiny with Cave Scraps.
I always loved the word finagle.
Thanks, Justin.
Dude, I was really happy coming up. I got the first two, and I'm like, I need a third word.
It's a good Christian word. Hannah, what are our scores after round 2?
Ish, you are at 8, and Justin, you're at 6.
Hey, I caught up. So
is that what you call that? Because you're still behind.
I am still behind, but only behind by 2. But we do have one more round to go. But I want to get your the cultural impact with Iron Man today. Obviously, what phase are we on in MCU? I lost count. Are we in a phase right now?
Yeah, we were
4 going on to 5.
Phase 4. We were supposed
to. Well, we quote unquote, just finished Phase 4, right, with Avengers Endgame,
Phase
and
3
then we
was the end of the Avengers Endgame.
see. I don't even know anymore.
No,
So with the end of Phase 3 was Iron Man dying. Spoiler alert! In Endgame last year. Before that, we would see him in 2 other Iron Mans, and then we will also see him in all the other Avenger films, as well as a smattering in films like Spider-Man and just like everywhere else. Even like Incredible Hulk at the very end. But
Marvel made just sprinkling Iron Man in their movies.
But even now, like I mean, you would still see like inklings of Stark in like films after the Endgame, like Spider-Man. And was that the only film that came out after Endgame?
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be the palate cleanser that we all needed after Endgame, after all the tears and the drama.
Right.
So, yeah.
So like how did you guys feel like when you found that, or when you watched Endgame and Iron Man was the one to go? Did you kind of see it coming, or did you, I don't know, were you like mad and you started like shouting in the theater?
I dropped to my knees and started screaming "Why" in the theater. Actually, it wasn't dramatic at all. But no, I think it's one of the best character arcs I've seen from a character. I think I really love the tender love and care they spent on that character since he kind of started it all. I think too, what really laid the groundwork for knowing the sacrifice he would eventually make in some way is in Avengers 1, and he's engaging in an argument with Steve, and Steve calls him out saying, "You're not willing to do what it takes. You're not going to sacrifice yourself and put yourself on the line for others because you're an egomaniacal person that is very selfish and just worried about your own vanity." And while that was true to an extent at that time, I think putting on the persona of that superhero compelled him to be selfless, and uh, and it paid full dividend at the end of Endgame. And I think it just all culminated to a beautiful end, which I'm really glad they went that route, despite how tragic it was.
How about you, Ish?
No,
How did you feel about it?
I definitely agree with Justin right there, because I was actually going to make the same point, because during that argument when Captain America says that about Tony also says, everything special about you came out of a bottle. Like, there's essentially nothing special about you as a person. But then, in the same movie, he's able to wield Mjolnir and stuff like that. So I thought it was cool how like they kind of show how they were both wrong at the same time for a good reason. Like, they were wrong in the better aspect. But also, one thing I really loved was, after rewatching the first one, was his last line of the movie was, I mean, granted, it wasn't technically his last line in Endgame, but it was his last major line in Endgame, where he says, "I am Iron Man." Like, that I thought was amazing.
Great point, Ish. Yeah, that like
Did I cut out again?
and that was a reshoot too that they had to do because they wanted they needed something bigger. Apparently, he didn't say anything at all. He just snapped his fingers,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh, okay.
they had already wrapped. And then they're like, "No, we need something," and they got the money from Marvel/Disney to go do reshoots, and they put that line in, which I think was perfect and absolutely necessary.
Hannah, what did you think about like just
yeah.
like the story arc of Iron Man throughout like the years?
I never seen it. I only watched up to, what's the Iron Man movie that Mickey Rourke was in?
That would be Iron Man 2.
Well, that's where I stopped.
Oh.
Fair enough.
And not for any reason. I don't have any like.
It just happened because
I don't have any slam.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many things that want me to watch them, and I owe none of you.
Yeah, you got zero
That's perfectly fine.
stocks in any of these companies.
So how about like what do you guys think of what the future of this character is? Do you think that they're ever gonna, maybe do like another version of Iron Man? Are they going to have like Iron Heart, which is I forgot the real name. Oh, Riri Johnson is the current Iron quote unquote Iron Man in the comics right now. Do you think they're going to bring her into the fold now that like they're replacing Thor? Are they just going to like stop doing the MCU and then just reboot the whole thing? What do you guys think, or what do you want them to do?
Good question. I really think that they should just leave Iron Man be. I know there was talks of maybe having his daughter take up the mantle and maybe try to make an Iron Heart or an Iron Maiden, if you will. Uh, but I really think that they should just have a different hero take up the mantle as kind of the leader. Because I think it was between him and Cap. I feel they both provided their own different forms of leadership to the group. I just think Iron Man just served as a great legacy for the team and a pushing point forward. One thing that they are going to need is another hyper intelligent scientist that also has the resources to keep funding their galaxy saving conquests and quests, excuse me. So I would love if they were able to bring in the Fantastic Four and introduce Reed Richards.
Yes.
I think that would be not a good replacement for Tony, but I think it would be something that would be sorely needed and something that could be welcomed seamlessly into the Avengers MCU verse. So that would be great. I think Fantastic Four, of all the characters that we acquired from the 20th Century acquisition, would be the easiest to integrate into the MCU just because it's rooted in a freak accident. I think characters like the X-Men it's going to be more difficult for writers to try to justify their appearance unless they go along with the whole multiverse thing, which they are with Doctor Strange too. But yeah, I think they should just let Iron Man stay Iron Man. I think they'll have Robert Downey Jr. return in flashbacks, maybe with characters remembering certain kind of wise words or certain funny anecdotes to help them.
Or he could be the new AI.
Oh, that'd be cool.
The new Jarvis.
That'd be awesome.
Ish, what would you like to happen with this character in the future?
The internet was cutting out for me a bit, so I don't know exactly what you said about his daughter, but I would definitely like it if over the next like 10 to 15 years, if she's kind of relevant in the movies, and I would love to see her grow up and actually take on her father's role. I think that would, or something along those lines, like just to kind of be relevant, because I think with kind of what they're trying to do with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange is incorporate more of the multiverse. For me, I would love it if they do the multiverse properly, because I know with Spider-Man Far From Home, they teased that the MCU was the 616 universe, and I'm like, no, that's not the 616 universe. 616 is already set and has its own thing. You can't say a completely different storyline is that. So I think they have an opportunity to build things. I would like to see them incorporate things. I definitely agree with Mr. Cortez that I think the Fantastic Four deserves another shot, and by Marvel. If Marvel does it, they have a good shot of being a good movie, finally.
Yeah.
And I would definitely love to see them bring in X-Men. But like kind of with like Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, I kind of feel the same way about Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. But no, I would definitely love it to kind of keep the Iron Man character alone and just focus on other heroes, because there's so many good characters you could choose from. And Robert Downey Jr. already did an amazing Iron Man. So there's no need to just redo it.
Yeah.
Just we have so many options. Just pick another one. I don't care. Pick Moon Knight.
Ooh,
I mean,
Moon Knight
yeah,
would be good.
They did announce it at
Yeah.
D23 that they were planning to do Moon Knight, Ms. Marvel, She-Hulk, Blade. They're redoing, which is awesome because they have Mahershala.
If they get Wesley Snipes again for Blade,
They
That'd be
recast him
dope.
already. They have
I
Mahershala.
think I said on an earlier podcast when I think I said on an earlier podcast when we mentioned Morbius. I think I think it was a Venom episode. We mentioned Morbius, the upcoming movie, and I'm like, if Morbius is a gateway to bring back in,
Aw.
as I'm totally in. Don't even care. I just want laid
Okay,
back.
Ish, I think you were saying something really awesome, but you cut out. Morbius
Oh,
is a gateway for what? Repeat, please.
I liked Wesley Snipes as Blade, so
No, he was great. You know,
yeah.
I love when he improvised that line. Some mother effers are always trying to ice skate uphill. It was true poetry, really. To be honest, I think I'm gonna include it in my vows when I get married someday.
Nice.
But
Hannah, do you want to have something to say before we start wrapping up?
I don't think I need a full minute to contribute. It was nice to be here. I thought I was going to think of something in that like one pause that I actually have been thinking about the last few days, but I honestly don't know where my head is at with any pop culture at all right now. I'm just like, yeah.
I have a question. Did you see Endgame?
No.
You didn't, you
Why are
literally
you even here then, Hannah?
like no. So you literally did stop at Iron Man 2 and just haven't seen any of the other Marvel movies.
Yeah, I'm not caught up. Whenever we do Marvel episodes, I'm fascinated because I love to listen to people talk about anything really, like even when I don't really know what's going on. Like I feel like I know more about like this sector of mainstream culture from the resulting discourse than anything else. So consider this an education for me.
Nice. Well, I know you don't have a lot of time, but if you do, maybe you could catch up on all like what 23, 24 movies.
I getting my
That
mind
time.
around that project. I have to dedicate myself, but I'll let you know. Maybe we'll have an episode about it the day I decide that's what I'm doing.
So Justin, what kind of projects, like future projects or anything that our listeners can look forward to you for you? Of you? I don't know what the grammar
Can
is
our
anymore.
listeners look forward to you?
I mean, sure, why not? Well, as Justin stated before, two future projects, or just two projects that I am proud of, is one is Geek End Update.
Hey.
I am one of the writers for that show, and we took a bit of a hiatus to, rightfully so because of the lockdown. So we will be up and running soon, and will be funnier than ever. Hopefully, I didn't set the bar too high there.
Dang
But
Will be funnier than anyone else has ever been. Damn it!
True SNL. No. But no, if you folks still want to receive some pulp culture news in these dark times and have a little chuckle, please stay tuned for more Geek End Update. And if you want to get a little peek of Geek End Update, we are on YouTube. If you want to listen to jokes about movies and TV and news from like what, 6, 7, 8 weeks ago?
A few months ago.
Yeah. Also, too, I had the pleasure of being involved working on a pilot series called Bulge Bracket, and I'm very proud to say that they premiered their series at the Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival, and so that was great. Just when you can be a part of something like that, especially a project you're passionate about, and working with such a great crew. The assistant director was a bit of a douche, but we got
Hey.
along.
Well,
By the way,
dang.
Justin Madraga was the AD, everybody. But no, you were wonderful, man.
Thank you.
I love working with you on the outside. You're a class act, and it was just a great project to be a part of. And I truly hope that this show goes places because it is a well-written series that basically is like The Office, but it takes kind of a hilarious on like Wall Street and people working in that industry and and sometimes, trying to function as a normal human being in such a cult-like environment. So yeah, definitely stay tuned. Hopefully hearing from Bulge Bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the things that I am working on, and yeah, I'm excited about them.
Perfect. Yeah, definitely check out Bulge Bracket. I think it's bulgebracketseries.com or something. You can look it up on Instagram and Facebook as well. Ish worked on it too. Justyn worked on it, and I worked on it. We're very proud of it. But yeah, get a look it up and see it once it premieres for everyone. Cool. So we're gonna go ahead and end this episode with our
Final round.
I like how, because we're shelter in place right now, like all of our podcast has the Ish is just like in his bed this whole time. He's just like at this
You're
point
all
he's just
in
like
bed with
chilling.
me right now.
Yeah.
I'm
All right.
fully outside.
Yeah, you are. All right. Before
I
you
should
start our
probably
final
try
round,
outside next time.
Hannah, what are our scores so far?
Your scores are Justin at 6 and Ish at 8.
All right, cool. So let me go ahead and start off since you already gave my Kunar question away. My first question to you is, what game was Tony playing when he was supposed to be winning an award?
If he was playing craps, was it?
Yes,
Craps?
he was playing
Yes.
craps.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was a fun.
He was playing gambling. Okay, so I'll keep on the theme of games. What board game was Tony and his cellmate playing in the cave?
Ooh, that's a good question. Go Fish.
Appeared to be backgammon.
Backgammon. Okay,
Oh.
Wow, that was a good one.
Backgammon,
Yeah, I think I remember.
They had a
like,
backgammon board and they used like washers and bolts.
Awesome sauce.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
stuff.
cool.
All right. So my next question to you is, what type of drink did Pepper ask Tony for at the fundraiser?
A vodka martini with a bunch of olives, like 3-4 olives.
That was like almost to the letter.
Yeah,
That was perfect.
like a lot of olives, like at least 3 olives.
Yeah. I was like, damn. And then he says, like, yeah, make it extra quick, extra dirty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which means
All
more
right.
alcoholic. For all you for all you alcohol connoisseurs, wannabe connoisseurs out there. Okay. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. On Tony Stark's Audi, what does the license plate read?
Boner Patrol 69.
Very close.
Yes.
So in an alternate universe, that would actually translate to Stark 4.
Oh, it says Stark 4 on it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
All right. My last question to you is, what was the reason Rose gave for the accident with the F-22?
Rhodes. I thought you said Rose. I was like, are we on?
I thought so too.
Okay. He says that it was a training exercise that went awry, and that everything went okay.
Correct.
Yeah, that was a great line. You can't just say this is some training exercise, Tony. It's like, come on.
Cut 2.
Cut
All right, Ish, your last question.
Okay, in the words of the immortal Tony Stark at the beginning of the movie, what is the best type of weapon?
Oh, it's a weapon you only have to use once. That's how
Correct.
I did it. That's how America does it, and it's
not bad.
not okay so far.
Yeah,
nice.
There you go.
All right, that was our end boss round. Hey, Justin, you want to give us our final scores?
Yes, sir. So with the final scores, Ish has 10 and Justin has 6. or seven. Excuse me.
All right. Well, congratulations, Ish. I mean, I almost
Thank
got you, but I mean, honestly, like it's funny because usually when we do our episodes, it's like 3, 4, 5 movies, but then it was great to just like watch like one movie and really concentrate on that movie. And it was a good movie, and it's a movie that started it all. So it was an excellent choice that you gave us, Justyn. And as always, like always bringing the knowledge. I love it. All the comic book knowledge, all the history behind it. It's great.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah, looking back on this, because I know we talked a lot about a lot of movies whose anniversaries fall around 2020, but I'm glad we ended up going with this one. It actually recalled for me that I was at Comic-Con in 2006 when they presented the first MCU panel, saying, "Hey guys, we're thinking about doing this extended cinematic universe, and we're starting with Iron Man." And everyone just had an eyebrow raised, not knowing how, like, even I was like, really, Iron Man? Like, I haven't read an Iron Man comic in a while. Like, I was just like, okay. um and yeah, and here we are now, so it was great to feel like I was part of that, or I got to witness the beginning of the greatness.
Very cool. Cool. So if anyone wants to get a hold of you, find you online, how can they find you, Justyn?
So I go by a gray smoke signal that you can use to start a fire in the back. uh yes. And no, I go on Instagram, so you can find me on there at Just Incredible Me. Justin with the Y being Justyn, Credible Me, all one word, to see my nerdy shenanigans taking place. But more importantly, one thing I want to talk about is I know times are tough right now with the COVID outbreak and us having to do the stay in. And unfortunately, I have lost a loved one to COVID-19. And so I really just want to create an awareness for it in this, and mainly telling people where to go if they had tested positive, survived it, and what they can do to help others that are at risk. So the most effective thing that has worked before a vaccine could be developed is donating plasma of people that had coronavirus, but then survived it, and now their antibodies provide an immunity which can be transfused through people that are currently at risk. So if you know of anybody that is doing well, got past coronavirus, that is willing to donate plasma, please go to redcrossblood.org/donate hyphen blood, and just and then /DOP/plasma hyphen donate. Uh, if that becomes too much, just remember redcrossblood.org, and from there you can figure out where you can donate plasma, or just if you've been healthy, please just donate blood. There's been a shortage, and people really need it out there for those who don't have COVID and just need some TLC and helping each other out. Lastly, because my family, my relatives are suffering at the loss of losing my godfather. They are in need of some funds. So they do have a GoFundMe. If you go to GoFundMe, look up the Parada, Parada Family Relief Fund, just to help cover medical expenses, and other things like that. It's I know, again, it's a tough time. Everyone is trying to do their best, but if you could donate to anyone in need, I would greatly appreciate it. It would mean the world to me. So thank you for giving me this platform to talk about this, and I'm so blessed to be hanging out with you guys.
Oh, definitely, man.
Of course. I mean,
Yeah.
like that was
You said
excellent plug.
it's from the Red Cross, right?
Yes, yeah. If you want to look to donate either blood or
Oh,
or your
cut out
plasma,
again.
yes. If you want to donate blood, go to redcrossblood.org, and from
All
there you
right,
can
you
find links
guys.
that will take you to where you need to go.
Yes, please. It's a real, obviously, it's a really good cause, and it's helping people that are suffering right now. Not everyone is as lucky as we are right now, sheltering in place and chatting with our friends, talking about nerd stuff. So please help out anyone that could be in a better situation. But thank you again, Justyn, for coming in. We always love having you, and we're sorry for your loss. But you're like family to us. So like, your family is our family. So we hope that things will get better for everyone. But thank you again, man. So you are listening to Geek K.O, the Geek Trivia Podcast. You can check out our past levels on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. And make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe if you have not done so already. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram under the handle GKO Podcast, as well as YouTube under GKO Podcast. You can email us at host@gkopodcast.com. And you can find us on our home on the web, gkopodcast.com. We are recording at home because we're shelter in place right now, but we are normally recorded at Wayland Productions, an award-winning production company for short films, documentaries, and audio dramas. Please check them out at wayland.ws and support the audio and visual arts. Special thanks goes out to Justyn Cortes, producer Hannah Miraz, our composer Marley Rosner. On Twitter and Instagram, I'm at Justyn at JAAHSDEN.
I am Joke Necromancer.
I'm Hannah Miraz, Miraz Hannah on Twitter and Instagram.
And our next episode is on
The Witcher.
And until next time, we'll see you on
Geek K.O.